Hey everyone! So today I am going to be answering all of your digital cluttered, oh my god, my inbox, my folders, my life is a mess. So I have a ton of pages of questions that everybody has sent in, and so today we're going to kind of dive deep and dirty and kind of figure out how to make you guys be a little bit more organized, and me too. All right, y'all, so let's get into it. All right, so how this is gonna work is I have a ton of questions like I mentioned, and I'm just going to read some random ones out here. I will say that there are several themes that I have seen over and over, and I think we have around like 200 or 250 questions, something like that. But the themes that I'm seeing over and over are, I have too many emails and I'm using my emails as my literally everything. It's my to-do list. It's where I keep everything in case I need to refer back to them. I'm afraid to delete my emails. I also have too many places. I don't have one system, or I've tried a bunch of different apps and none of them talk to each other. What do I do? Some of the other ones is that either I have a very confusing and grandiose system, or I have no system, and then I never take the time to actually utilize the system. And then the other one is just like, I just don't know where to begin. I'm so overwhelmed. I have so much clutter. I just don't know where to start. So today we're going to be trying to address all of those. So yeah, let's get to it. All right. So let's start with this question from Debra, and her question was, I have too many systems and they don't talk to each other. What do I do? So I think the really important part about that is really thinking through how you're going to systematize the way that you work. It's important that we understand how we work, what are our natural tendencies, so that we can actually be thoughtful and build a plan around it. Most of us never had training when we got our first big job. Nobody ever talked to us about how do you manage your inbox, how do you manage a filing system, and what does that look like for us. Most of us kind of either figured it out, or we went to Google, or you watched a YouTube video on how to do it. So I think it's important to think through what systems that you're currently using, whether you're in the Microsoft environment or if you're in the Google environment. They are very different and there's different tools. So I will encourage you to really think through the processes behind it, and also think about what are your roadblocks. What is coming your way that is stopping you from being organized? I will give you an example. In my life, I got a new computer and I just, last year happened, and I never had the time to connect my my OneDrive to my computer, and so it was just a hot mess. So even taking simple steps like that to streamline on how and where you're going to file things, and then also thinking through the roadblocks, like why is my inbox a mess? Is there too many folders? There's not enough folders. I don't know what to do with them. I'm saving everything. So think through the roadblocks first, and then you can make a plan for success. So another question is from Jennifer, and she says, my problem is that I'm keeping everything. I want to keep everything in one place. My calendar, my SharePoint, my online filing system, using OneNote as my go-to, and hopefully just use Outlook for calendaring and inbox. So great point, and I think part of that is that we're so used to using our email as everything. So it's our inbox, it's our to-do list, it's where we kind of are following up and checking on everything, versus having a system outside of our inbox so that we're really just triaging. So let me give you a couple tips and tricks, and this doesn't matter what platform that you're on. The concept about triaging your inbox is really about, I get an email, I make sure I'm making the decision on what do I need to do with that. Is it something that I need to handle right away? I need to reply to it, or is it something, if you're an administrative professional, do you need to schedule a meeting, or what is it that you need to do with it? If it's under 2 minutes, go ahead and take care of it right then and there. But if not, then I really just set aside 30 minutes in the morning, and I'm able to get through my inbox really quickly. And I do that by doing a couple things. So one, when I'm triaging it, first I change my view and I'm looking by type and not by date. So if something is just coming in by date, then obviously you're going to deal with it first. But what is much better is to batch like items together and deal with them all at once. So I go in, I change my view, I look by type, and then if it's a meeting invite or an out of office reply, then I just deal with all of them at one time, and then I'm only left with my actual emails. And then I go in there and decide, is this an urgent action? Is it something that I need to do right away? If it's something that is more of a medium priority and I know that I can't get to it, I have an automatic reply that goes out to let people know that, hey, I'd love to be able to get to this, but I don't think I can get it until, you know, Wednesday or whatever. So I am triaging my emails, and then I usually do that in the morning, and depending on how busy I am, I might hit my inbox again in the afternoon, and then I might hit it again at the end of the day, and I do the same process every single time. If you are in your inbox all day long, you really want to make sure that you're thinking through on how you're going to clear out that clutter. If you're someone who is not able to manage your inbox that way, you still need to think through how you're going to triage what's coming in and making sure that you are the one who's deciding how and when you do that versus letting other people dictate it for you. So there's another one from Rebecca that says, I'm transitioning from paper planner to OneNote, and so I'm trying to keep it on one place and not drop deadlines. I truly want to utilize O365 since that's what our work uses, but I don't have all the processes figured out yet. I also get bogged down in emails, and then I'm overwhelmed, and like the description says, I just want to close my laptop and eat ice cream. So in that, she's referring to an email that I sent out that I just said, look, when you get overwhelmed, I feel you don't want to touch it. So what I think is really important there is when you are transitioning from paper to something that is digital, like OneNote or Evernote or Google Keep or whatever it is that you're using. Specifically, when you're in the Microsoft environment, I think it's important for you to understand how you can use the right tools for the right thing. Microsoft has a very powerful ecosystem when you use it together. When you start bringing in other apps, I mean, it's not what I think is the best practice, but lots of people do it. So I think when you're in the Microsoft system, it's just really important for you to think through, what does that actually look like? How are you going to use the tool? For me, it is meeting minutes. I use it as a brain dump. I put this is where I keep all of my notes, but I also don't leave everything there forever, right? So I'm kind of going back every single week and I'm just checking through, do I still need this? Is this valuable? And then once a quarter, I go through and I clean out all my OneNotes. And then at the end of the year, then I really it's easy for me to make sure that I'm prepped for the next year because I've been doing it at the end of every quarter. So there's another question that says, my inbox has over 8,000 messages. This is from Kay, by the way. My inbox has over 8,000 messages. How do I keep up with all the email? There are old emails, messages in there that I forgot about and no longer have any importance, but there is not a mass delete button. Just dealing with email every day and keeping it effective and managed is my biggest digital challenge. So as we're thinking about your emails, so again, earlier we talked about triaging it and make sure that your inbox is a place where you decide what you're doing with those things and it's just not like a filing system for you. I get an email, I decide what I need to do with it, and then I either go, you can use categories, you can use tasks. I mean, there's a ton of different ways you can do it. The important thing is for you to think through how you want to and then stick to the system. But I will say, as you are managing on how you're going to get your inbox from this very convoluted inbox that feels heavy and you want to go to something that's light and easy to manage, as you're thinking through whether you're on Google or in Microsoft, you can filter similar messages, you can delete them quickly. The other thing I think that we don't do enough is we don't archive enough our emails, right? So when you archive an email, it keeps it doesn't delete it, and you can always access it later, but it's not necessarily just sitting in your inbox. And if somebody replies to that email, it will pop back up. So, you can just take some of those easy steps to manage it on a daily basis so it doesn't get so heavy. If you are in the Microsoft environment that everybody loves the cleanup folder function, this is seriously amazing. It deletes all of the redundant messages that come in email chains, and it keeps the latest with everybody's responses, except if it has an attachment, and then that stays as well. So that one thing can really minimize the amount of email messages that you have. If you are in the Google environment, you know, filter messages out and just either delete them all, or you can, you know, archive them all or move them out, like whatever that looks like for you. But it's easier if you deal with the messages in mass rather than, you know, going one by one by one. And there's going to be a point where you do have to go one by one as you're cleaning out your inbox, but in general, it's not going to be all the time, hopefully, to get you through 13,000. All right, guys, so I hope that was helpful. We are going to circle back around here in a little bit and do some more of these, specifically about how do you set up a filing system, how do you actually set up, you know, the email foldering system, and then I'm going to show you some how-tos on how do you actually triage your inbox and what does that actually look like in real life. So I hope this is helpful, and yeah, let me know what your digital challenge successes are below. And if you're looking for more content, follow the video right here where I showed you how I cleaned off my desktop. See you over there.